Hello and welcome to... That didn't flap very well. I'm going to do that again. Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live weekly chat. There's something weird going on my screen. Hang on. The dates come up. Everything's come up. I fixed it. So hello and welcome. I hope you've had an amazing, fabulous, voluptuous royal week. I know it has been a week of surprises, what with everything going on with Harry and Meghan and their new household, and lots of uncertainties with the Royal Foundation. We will, I'm sure, discuss all of that in due course. But hello and welcome. I will be on air live probably for the next hour and a half. So grab yourself a drink if you haven't already, and we will have a good old chat about the royal family. If this is your first time making a live chat, then welcome if you're live. If this is your first time ever, you get to ask me questions, live Q&A session. I'm always live at 10 o'clock GMT, which is British time. So I'm going to go straight to the chat room. Hello to everyone that's already there. I'm sorry I haven't got the time to say hello to everyone, so I'm going to zoom all the way down to the very bottom. Hello to Jamie. Oh, by the way, the moderators are in the room. If they remove one of your comments, don't take offense. It's probably just because it's either a question or a comment that's already been said, something that I may have already answered. So don't get mad at them. They aren't removing you because you've necessarily done something wrong. It's just, it could be a duplicate question. So Jamie says, looking dapper. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who has said that I look good today. Thank you. Happy St. Patrick's Day, says May. And of course, I will start off with the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge are attending the St. Patrick's Day parade tomorrow. So that is something to look forward to. And of course, I have my Irish flag in the background in homage. Mrs. BSN has her drinks and snacks ready. That is really, really good. Yes, Lady Buckingham says, don't hate us. Don't hate on them. They're just helping me. Again, thank you to everyone who said that I look good. Which tiara am I wearing? It is, here we go. It's the one the Queen wore for her wedding. Can you see? Which I really, really like. The fringe tiara. I probably won't get it back on again now. Yes, I love this one because it's nice and spiky, and it goes with my new brooch, which is the Peridot, my Peridot birthday brooch. Yes, and trolls get zapped too. That is true. Oh yes, Sandy has, of course, made a very, very, very pertinent point with all of the... I would like, on behalf of all of the Royal Reviewer family, to send our condolences to the people of Christchurch and the wider community of New Zealand as a whole in what terrible things have been going on. And I agree, it is absolutely appalling what has been going on. So I send my condolences and those of everyone else who watches the channel and comments. I know a lot of you made lots of comments on the condolence video of the messages that were sent out by the Queen and Prince Philip and Camilla and Charles and William and Catherine and Harry and Meghan. So I hope you did get a chance to see all of those messages. Martin says, thanks for the Irish flag, and yes, can't wait to see the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge tomorrow. Pamela says the brooch is lovely. Well, thank you. Keith says, first time here, but you're drinking green tea. Well, I've got water again. Teresa says, Omid said that we will see Meghan soon, so I guess maternity leave hasn't officially started. Your thoughts? Well, I did say this in one of my previous chats. I think it was, I probably mentioned it in both of my previous live pop-up videos about the household change. And I did mention the maternity story. And I did say that I didn't think, even though there are no planned engagements, there are no planned engagements in terms of the calendar. There have been no Meghan announcements on Twitter. But I did say 3 videos ago that I thought that we haven't seen the last of Meghan yet. I've always thought that her maternity would start at the end of March. So a couple of weeks, literally a couple of weeks. So in that time, we could see, you know, what is now an unannounced engagement cropping up. So I would agree entirely with Omid. That is what I have been saying ever since the story about her being on maternity leave. I think that has just come from the fact that there are no engagements planned. So, you know, people are putting two and two together and thinking, well, she's in the late stages of pregnancy. There's no engagements announced. Therefore, she must be on maternity leave. Well, I don't think so. I mean, she could be on maternity leave, but I don't think so. I think we could still see one or two engagements cropping up for Meghan. We will just have to wait and see. Kensington Palace does have a habit of making very short announcements if there are engagements planned. So I wouldn't count on it that she's on maternity yet. If she is, then good luck to her. Put your feet up. I hope you're enjoying a cup of tea and a slice of that horrible avocado toast. So yes, if you are Meg, if you are on maternity leave, put your feet up, love. Have a cuppa and some of your lovely banana cake, please. But we'll have to just wait and see. We really will just have to wait and see. Oh, we have a little bit of gossipy news. Well, I say gossip, it's not really gossip. I'm sure by now you have all heard of the potential pram that Meghan and Harry might be having. It's eye candy. A very expensive, I think their top model pram is something like £1,500, which is something like round about just under $2,000 if you're American. So it's a very expensive pram, eye candy. And this eye candy, well, it was a car. It wasn't a van. It was kind of like a car, was photographed outside the gates of Frogmore Estate. Now, we don't know whether it was going to the Frogmore house or whether it was going to Frogmore Cottage. We don't know. There was just photographs taken by a local resident, a passerby, who said, oh, my sister had an eye candy pram, therefore I'm going to take a photograph to show my sister. Well, anyway, she sold that photograph to the press. So the whole story leaked out. So Meghan is likely to have an eye candy pram, which is very, very trendy. I can't think of any other reason why that van with eye candy emblazoned on the back would be spotted outside of the Frogmore Estate. Can you? I mean, it's gossip, it's unconfirmed, but literally putting two and two together, I think we can safely say that either she's ordered an eye candy pram and it was being delivered, or one is being gifted to her, or she's having a look at lots of different prams and then going to make up her mind as to which. Of course, Catherine favours the more old-fashioned silver cross prams, which we've seen her pushing George and Charlotte in. But Meghan going for a slightly more modern look with the eye candy. I like both prams. Let me know in the comment section which style of pram do you prefer? Do you prefer the more old classical style of the silver cross with the big wheels, or do you prefer the more modern eye candy? Let me know. This did, however, pose a different question to me. I was thinking, well, if the pram was being delivered to Frogmore, that means that Harry and Meghan must be at Frogmore. But does that mean that the house is ready? The cottage is ready? Does it mean that they have moved in? Again, more questions which we do not have answers to, because just because the pram was being delivered to the Frogmore, it could have been going to Frogmore House or it could have been going to the cottage. If the cottage still isn't ready, which is what I've been saying for a while, they could actually be staying on location in the house, because the house does have bedrooms. It is within the royal use to use. So perhaps they're staying in Frogmore House whilst the cottage is being done up. So just because the pram is being delivered to the estate doesn't mean that they have moved into the cottage, if you catch my drift. So we are still none the wiser as to if they've moved in to Frogmore Cottage or not. It really is a 50-50. I'm swinging more towards the side of they're staying in the Frogmore house temporarily until the cottage is done, so that this late in her pregnancy, they can oversee things. I don't know what stage they're at. They could be at the furnishing stage. They could be at decorating. They could still be knee deep in mud. I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, I hope that the Frogmore Cottage is ready by the time baby's born, but Well, we will literally just have to wait and see. Oh, by the way, speaking of Frogmore Cottage, did you all watch my previous video where I said that there is a Twitter handle that was already created in November of last year, which was the same month that the announcement was made that they were moving to Frogmore Cottage. So that handle is dormant. It has no posts. It's following no. It just says at Frogmore Cottage, East Essex, I think it says, or something like that. Something like that. I can't remember exactly. A few people are following now. I think a few people are cottoning on. Is it the dormant account of what will be their new household Twitter handle name? Again, I don't know. There are so many questions this week that don't have any answers. It is just speculation. But, you know, why else would an at Frogmore have been created? It could have been created by anybody in the entire world. It could have been created by somebody who was speculatively maybe trying to make some money by perhaps selling it later on down the road. That does happen. I know that happens. It is a distinct possibility that could be what it actually is. However, it could also be that the royal family, in anticipation of this planned move, they did admit that it was a long-term planned move and planned household separation. Did they set up a Twitter handle in readiness just in case? So could their new social media handle be at Frogmore Cottage? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Let's see what people are saying. I'm going to zoom all the way down to the bottom. So sorry if I've missed any questions. Pamela says, Palmer rather says, I keep calling you Pamela. When I'm glancing, it looks like Pamela. So if I do say Pamela, I'm sorry. Palmer says, I like the old-fashioned pram. I'm generally a traditionalist. Bailey A likes the modern prams. Carol likes the classic, but Meghan is very modern, you say. Oh, yes. Moderators, thank you. Any talk about this fake pregnancy bump will get removed because it is totally not true. Why would anybody think that Meghan is having a fake pregnancy? My goodness. Thank you, moderators. Martin Gahan says, I like Silver Cross pram, but you don't see many people using them or not in Ireland. Lots of love for the Silver Cross prams, actually. Teresa says, eye candy doing product placement to get publicity, like the companies that delivered to the baby shower. Again, that is a distinct possibility, just to get your logo out there. They could be just dropping off a donated pram. Perhaps they're anticipating, obviously that's where Meghan and Harry are going to be living. It could be that scenario too. So like I say, it doesn't mean that they've actually moved into the house. It could be any number of different scenarios. JJMV Ball says, wow, I wasn't familiar with eye candy pram. Yes, it must be a Tesla version of strollers. I think it is. I think that is kind of like what it is, actually. Who knows? Elon Musk might be behind eye candy. I don't know. Ruth James says, I loved my Silver Cross pram. Great suspension. Yes, have you seen the size of those suspensions? JCS Godmother says, I doubt they are doing 2 moves to Frogmore House and then cottage. But when I say move, I don't mean like literally a full-on move. I mean just staying there in bedrooms, using the accommodation, whilst possibly things are still being sorted. Because it's easier to be, believe me, it's easier to be on location when you're having a renovation done. That's why lots of people, when they're having their houses renovated, put a static van or what we call a caravan or a mobile home on site, so they can live on site, so that any decisions that are being made, they're there for, which has been difficult for Harry and Meghan to do that because they've been very, very busy with all of their royal duties. Whereas now, now that things are winding down for Meghan, she may find it easier up until the later stage, the very later stages of pregnancy, to be on site, to actually be full on and hands on with the decision making and what's going on, just to be on call. If there's any problems, she's there. A little bit like site. I can see Meghan doing site management a little bit. No, I can just see her kind of wanting to be there on call for any problems that may arise, any decisions need to be made. If they are at the final stages of decorating, then I would want to be there personally. So that's what I kind of mean by Angela says, it's not ready. The white sheets are still up. Have you seen a recent photograph? Let me know how you know the white sheets are still up, because if they are still up, then that obviously means it's definitely not ready. But I don't think I've seen a recent photograph of the cottage. Let me know. Mrs. BSN says, there is also a Frogmore Royal handle on Twitter. That's the one I've just shared. Tosca says, oh dear, you must get over the avocado. Trying something once and having such a reaction is no way to judge what that is very healthy food. I really didn't like avocado. It wasn't just a reaction. I hated it. No avocado. Don't use Twitter. No, I wouldn't use Twitter. I have a Twitter account literally just to follow what's going on. I'm not even going to reveal what it is, because I don't want any followers on it. I don't want to be on Twitter. I'm just using it literally to follow what's going on with all the press stories and the official royal palaces and all that kind of thing. So yes, Twitter is toxic. I don't like Twitter. I do not wish to be on Twitter. I do not wish to have a Royal Reviewer Twitter presence. I'm not on there as Royal Reviewer. I'm not on there as my own name, so don't even go looking for me. I have an assumed name on there that I am using just to follow certain people that I want to follow. Annette says, what is a prank? A prank is like a joke being played on somebody. Have I described prank well? I don't know. Kelly Duga says, happy St. Patrick's Day all. We have the lovely Irish flag in the background. Kiki says, do I think Catherine and William will go for baby number 4? Yes, I do. And I have the same feeling as you. I don't think they're quite finished. I think she'll go for the same as the Queen. I don't know. I've just got a feeling. It just doesn't feel like they're complete. You know, we don't know what's going on with them. She may very well be completely complete, but I've just got a hunch that she's not. So, yeah. Where do I get my replica tiaras? Most of them are from Amazon, believe it or not, and they're actually quite cheap. G-Ray says, could the pram be a gift? Yes, it indeed could be. R. Moore says, thinking about the commute, how far is it from Windsor to Buckingham? Oh, I did work this out once, and I've forgotten the exact time. I think it was something like 1 hour 15 by car, something like that. And no, or was it 45 minutes? I can't remember if it was 45 minutes with like no traffic, but then if there's traffic, it could be 1 hour and 15. Or I can't remember if it was 1 hour and 15 with no traffic, and then it could be even longer with traffic. I really don't know, but it is a bit of a trek either way, especially as quite a lot of the engagements are London based. Of course, they could use the big Frogmore house with its function rooms to hold functions and host people actually at Frogmore. That could indeed happen. We don't know. So they could have people come into them. But in terms of actually making it in and out of London, it could be a lot longer with traffic. Helicoptering in and out, if you want to be quick, could be a better option. But it definitely is a longer commute than living where they are currently at Nottingham Cottage in the grounds of Kensington Palace. Another thing that has been suggested is now that the household has moved to Buckingham Palace. When I say household, I mean offices. A lot of people are getting confused by household and house. I'm talking household, which is the offices. That's what we say in the UK. If you want to think of it in another way, their court. Now that their court is at Buckingham Palace, perhaps like some of the Queen's other children, perhaps they'll have some type of accommodation at Buckingham Palace, use of rooms, use of shared rooms, I don't know, where if they're in London, they could possibly stay the night, just so that they haven't got that double trek, that double commute in the same day. I don't know. I agree. I think Meghan does look really good in her late pregnancy. Bernie says, tomorrow her youngest son will be turning 14. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy birthday to your son. Happy 14th birthday. Anna Maria is cooking whilst listening to me. Have you ever considered a podcast? Yes, but I don't really know how to do one. That's the main issue. Is it just like doing this, but I just have a blank screen? I don't know if I can use this to record a podcast. But anyway, you can use this as a bit of a podcast because you can just use headphones and not look at me. There you go. You can just not look at me. You can listen to me whilst you do your washing up and your cleaning, or you're in the bath, whatever. Teresa says, haven't heard much about Charles and Camilla's Caribbean tour. The visit to Cuba is a big deal. It is indeed. I had that on my list. It begins tomorrow, which is why I reposted in the community section the link to my previous video on the Caribbean tour itinerary. So if you've forgotten what the itinerary is and you want to recap, it's a big, massive itinerary. So I'm not going to sit here now and read it, which is why I posted that link so that you can go and rewatch it at your convenience. I go through every single day what the different engagements are that is official, that was put out by the Palace, by Clarence House. So every engagement is there, unless there's been any last minute tweaks to it. That should be the complete and finalized itinerary. So you go and familiarize yourself with that. It says that the tour starts tomorrow. So because of the time difference, I can't remember what the time difference is, but expect something coming out of the Caribbean tour within the next 24 hours anyway. So of course I will be trying to do it day by day. Because of the time difference, it may not be possible. In fact, I may even work a day in arrears with the tour. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. So as soon as I get any more information on it, we still don't know any more information other than what the itinerary is and that it begins tomorrow. I don't even know which royal reporters are actually going on the tour to accompany them, to get all the photographs and videos. I have no idea. No one seems to have posted that they're getting on a plane. So we will have to wait and see on that one. As soon as I know more, I will, of course, let you know. And yes, Cuba is a really, really big deal. It is political. It is at the request of the government on behalf of the Queen. So it is a very big deal. And I will be filling you in as soon as I know anything. Am I going to comment on the new press secretary? I did in my other video. I'm trying not to duplicate everything. If you want to know all about the household split, check out the first video I did about the household split was kind of like when the news had just broke. And then the second video is when we know a few more details, where I talk about the staff, and I've had time to process things a lot more. So the things that we don't know are discussed in the second video, pop-up chat about that. So do go and check that out. If I start commenting on that now, we will be there forever. Pam says, was there humour in the name Frogmore to do with frogs? Yes, there was lots of frogs because it was quite marshy. I still think they do have big kind of lakes within the grounds of Frogmore. I think they're classed as lakes. So it was very froggy. It was a very froggy Frogmore. And I think you could hear all the noises of the frogs. I don't know if there's still frogs there now. If there is, I think Meghan better get used to frogs. Christine says, I made corned beef and cabbage. I had corned beef hash last night for my tea. Anna says, will there be a statement saying when Meghan will have baby Sussex? No, there wasn't with Catherine. For some reason, I don't know how, but I think it was Camilla Tominey. She found out when Catherine's due date was with Louis. I have no idea how she found out, but she did. And then that leaked. But unless we have another leak, I don't think we will know when Meghan's due date is. We'll just know when she's gone into whatever hospital she's gone into. Again, there was a story that it's going to be the Lindo wing. The Lindo wing has always been the one that I've said that I think she'll end up in. However, there is also the option of the Portland, which again is a traditional royal hospital. Lots of members of the royal family have previously given birth in the Portland. I would probably say the Lindo wing, the Portland are on par. There isn't a lot of difference between them. Of course, the Lindo wing, where Catherine has had George, Charlotte and Louis, and the Portland, where other members of the royal family have also had royal children. So again, I think it's probably safe to say that she's having baby in London. But Lindo Wing, Portland, I don't know. Whichever one she goes into, I think it's just a personal preference. She'll have probably looked at both, and then whichever one she feels more comfortable with, that is the one that she will have gone with. So we'll have to wait and see on that one, but no official statement. Okay, I'm just skipping. Oh, lots of messages deleted. That must have been a lot of work. HM the King says a lot of work will be needed to make Frogmore House lovable today. I suggest they are living in the main castle or another house on the estate. Well, actually, Frogmore House isn't dilapidated. The cottage was that's being renovated, but I do believe that Frogmore House was updated in, I think it was the late 90s. I know that's now quite a long time ago, but for those of us that were that remember the 90s, it wasn't that long ago. And I think work on the roof and fireplaces and interiors was done in the 90s. So it may at this point perhaps maybe look a little bit tired, but it certainly isn't unlivable in. It's not rack and ruin. They can live in it. It's still being used for royal functions. It was used for the wedding reception of Harry and Meghan. If it was in a dilapidated state, it would not have passed muster, I'm sure, with Meghan to be used for a royal function such as her wedding. So I don't think it's unlivable in, especially temporarily whilst you're overseeing things. So, but again, you could be right. Then they could be staying in the main castle and then just coming down to see the work going on. We do not know. Leslie says, I just love you. I get the royal truth from you. I try my best. So thank you. TJ says, what happened to your video of Prince William? Oh, it had copyright footage. So they didn't take it down. There was nothing like that. I took it down. They just said that they were going to put ads on it. And I just thought, you know what? I don't want any of the hassle with any of that business. Just delete. So I got rid of it. Pamela says, in the States, a pram is the bed type, not a stroller type. Okay, a UK, a pram is, well, traditionally, it's like the Silver Cross style. That is what a pram is. But nowadays, people in modern Britain also call a pram, I suppose, people might also call it like a pushchair. We either say pushchair, pram, or you can call it a pram for an actual flat-bottomed pram. There are lots of different words. But the one that I think that is the eye candy one, I think was a proper pram, I think. Although we don't know which model it was. Barbara says Zara is an ambassador for eye candy prams. Maybe she recommended it to them, and it is also very good going over of ground. Yes, she is. Zara represents lots of different products, which is one of the blessings of not having a royal title. She's entitled to make her own money, and she hasn't been, encumbered with any royal titles. And she does make a lot of money from endorsements, including eye candy. And of course, Zara was also at the races this week, and Camilla was there too. So we've seen a little bit of Zara this week. Ava42 knows more about the eye candy, and she says it's convertible pram stroke stroller. So there you go. It's convertible. G Ray says Twitter is not for the faint of heart. I can't be doing with the drama. Christine says, are William and Catherine going to be at the Irish Guards tomorrow? Yes, they are indeed. Armour says, we need censorship here. We are sick of the hate. If that is what you are looking for, there are plenty of other channels, unfortunately. There are indeed. Elderly Poodle, I love the name, says, off subject. What is the ribbon behind the brooch? I wondered for many years, it seems to be blue or yellow. It depicts the rain. Yes, it depicts the rain. So if it's there's yellow, there's white, there's blue, and each monarch gets their own color. So the Queen has her collar. Her father would have had his, and George V before him would have had his collar too. And I can't remember the colours associated, so don't ask me. Nefeta Pri says, totally agree. They may just be staying close to see oversee renovations. It makes sense. I would. Hey, me and Meghan are both Leos. Meghan and I, sorry, are both Leos. We like control. I could not imagine just saying, oh, here you go, designer. Crack on. I would want complete and utter control. And I think Meghan might be the same way too. So I would want to be there. Kelly Branch says, can Meghan and Harry appoint royal warrants? No, I don't think it's in their gift. I can't think of an example where someone in their position has. So no, I don't think so. Sandy Pun says, do you know George and Amal Clooney attended dinner party at Buckingham Palace? Yes, they were all happy with Prince Charles as a family friend. George Clooney defends Meghan in the Good Morning Britain interview. Yes, I did know. Again, I couldn't use any of those photographs because they were all press association photographs, and anyone else using them shouldn't. Nicole says, my birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday to you. Oh, fan flap. The birthday fan flap. Happy birthday. Thank you to Angelica. Ninova says, do the royals still have courtiers? Yes, they do. And no, they're still called courtiers. William almost got sprayed with beer. He did. Oh, that is quite funny. He was at Brains Brewery today before he attended the rugby match. And of course, Wales won. But at the brewery, there was this kind of, is it called a keg? A keg of beer, like a metal barrel of beer. And it was that they were doing something to it, and it like kind of exploded with beer going everywhere. And William was quite laughing and saying, it wasn't me, I didn't do it. So yes. Jessica says, more and more companies are teleconferencing, no need for travel. That's true. Jamie has done some Googling, thank goodness. Windsor to Buckingham Palace is 45 minutes by car and 20 minutes with police escort. Getting the train to Windsor from Paddington is about 50 minutes. That's where I got the 45 minutes from. So 45 minutes is the transport time by car. But if it's heavy traffic, I'm thinking that's where I got the hour and 15, hour and 20 from. With police escort, who knows how long it takes with police escort? Have they timed it? I'm not entirely sure. 20 minutes wouldn't be too bad if that was the case. Annette says, loved you last night. You should go into... Oh, my goodness. Okay. Those of you who saw the tarot reading video, I messed up entirely. Okay. That video was not supposed to go on this channel. That video was supposed to go on my second channel, Elliot's British Life. That is what it was supposed to go on. But I accidentally didn't switch channel over before I went live on my phone. So there was me thinking it was going out to a completely different channel, and it wasn't. Only once I read the comments and people found it funny, I didn't have the heart to delete it. And I couldn't be bothered to like screen grab it and re-upload it to the other place and then lose all the comments. I was like, just leave it, let it fly. But I will be doing more kinds of comedy stuff like that on my other channel. That was not supposed to be on this channel. So a big boo-boo from me. But I'm glad people found it funny. Angel says, is it true Duchess Meghan could be in danger from what Princess Diana called the men in grey suits? No, definitely not. I mean, Diana, it was a different time with Diana. Diana felt like the establishment was out to get her. You know, she felt like it was Charles versus her, and Charles was backed by the palace. That is not the case with Meghan at all. Robert Gray says, would you comment on the new press secretary, Hillary Clinton's old campaigner? I did in my previous video. I will just quickly say that I think she is a good appointment. She's experienced, and I think people have commented that she has quite a good, strong attitude towards things. So I think she'll get things done. Yes, I don't see any red flags with her, and apparently she is a dual citizen too. Old says, I'm not reading the second bit. It says, I don't blame you for not wanting to be a royal reporter or even on Twitter. Too much nasty talk and mean people. It is full of toxicity. Toxic Twitter is what I call it. So yes, I am not going to ever have a Twitter presence on Twitter. MC Hammers. Can't touch this. Says, I'm listening to you while doing homework, so it's basically a podcast. Well, there you go. You can easily convert me into a podcast by turning off the screen. Convert me. There you go. Sandy Pun says, Elliot, after baby Sussex is born, they prefer to use German nursery company because after attending the Commonwealth ceremony in Westminster, Harry went to Berlin. Is it true? He did go to Berlin, but not to necessarily get anything for baby. He went as part of a private endeavour, something that he's working on in the future. And we didn't know terribly too much about that. It wasn't really publicised. It was like a working visit, and we don't know quite what it is that he's working on, but I'm sure all will be revealed in due course. Whilst on the point lists, I remembered another story which I'd heard, which is a complete load of complete and utter nonsense. It gets a fan flap from me. It was saying that baby Sussex won't have the same surname as Harry and Meghan. What a complete load of tripe. The entire article was a complete load of absolute rubbish. I think it may have been Hello Magazine. Where do they get these reporters from? No, baby Sussex will not have a different surname. They were saying that Harry and Meghan's surname is Wales. It's not Wales. Harry gave up Wales as a kind of surname when he got married. He is known by title alone: the Duke of Sussex, the Duchess of Sussex, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Therefore, if you like, they don't really have a surname. They're known by title alone, but the children kind of will be known as Sussex, kind of used as a surname, but not technically a surname. So they will not have a different surname. Harry is not Wales. Meghan is not Wales. She's not Mrs. Wales at all. They are the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They are known by title alone. They do not have a surname. Where they get this stuff from, I was flabbergasted. And that's the sort of tripe that gets out there, sort of nonsense that's put out there, and people read it and go, oh, yes, Harry's still Wales and the baby's going to be Sussex. They don't have the same surname. It's false. Palmer says, I like seeing you as opposed to a podcast. Well, if you don't like the look of me, you can turn me off and just listen to me. And if you like the look of me, you can just look at me. I'm not bothered either way. Mrs. Pilling says, do you have an instinct on whether Meghan is having a boy or a girl? Girl. But again, I'm basing that on nothing. Maybe I'll do a tarot reading on it. Oh. Sharon Hill Walker says, I love the name Victoria, or I like Victor. I have to say, I do like Victor. But I'm thinking for a girl, Marina. I'm standing by Marina. Let the ships come in. Cynthia says, California here, very proud of Meghan. I think all Californians and Americans should be too. Apparently 596 watching. I've just looked. My goodness. Oh, Mrs. BSN says in the Caribbean it's Eastern time. What's that? Someone Google for me quickly. How many hours in front or behind? I forgot to check, literally. Yeah, I do like Victor. I really, really do. Ariadna, I hope I said that correctly, says, hi from Chile. I have a Chilean viewer. In my country, there is no kingdom, but my dream is to meet the Dukes of Sussex and Cambridge. come over to the UK, and you may, if you go to one of their engagements. Nancy says, if Catherine has a fourth child, then they will ensure future royals available for all of the charities. And it would help. I agree. JJM says, I love you and your channel. Love how you keep it real, sensible and logical. Your accent and humour to me is fabulous. Keep up the great work. I try my best. I really do. Annette says, do any of the grands named Philip as a first name? They could choose Philip if it's a boy. There's no reason why not. MH says Victoria Elizabeth or Albert Charles. Ninova says Victoria Francis or Elizabeth. Ali G. Boyakasha says, you have such a nice online community here. People are respectful and kind to one another. I hope it stays that way. I mean, obviously, as the channel grows, I've realized that you do kind of lose a little bit of control of your baby, and you have to kind of put trust and faith, you know, in the wider world, and you have to kind of accept that you can't necessarily just do it alone. So I have the fantastic help of my moderators. So thank you so much to the moderators who have been trying to put in place the Buckingham Palace community guidelines within the channel. So people can still say what they want as long as you say it in a decent way. You can still say that you don't like something or whatever, just don't be hateful about it. You know, there are ways of saying you dislike something without being utterly horrible. And I think on the whole, people are very good here. But I realize that as it grows, you kind of lose a little bit of grip. Sandy says, where is my fake news binocular glasses? I forgot them again. They're in my drawer. I forgot. I will try and remember for next week. Diane says, you look dashing. Well, thank you. Do we need a full outfit twirl? I've got my corduroy trousers on as well. They're blue. Do we see? There we go. Outfit twirl. Maria says, I was looking on a documentary of Prince Philip's family, and I believe Prince Harry and the Duchess will use either his mother's name or the sister that died tragically. No one knows what name they're going to choose at all. Carol says, I didn't see an emotional Meghan. I saw a Meghan who was very appreciative of the performance of Mr. Alfie Boe. I was not there and I was moved. Again, no, I didn't necessarily see like an outpouring of emotion when Alfie Boe was singing, but I did see a very, very, very big look of pride when the choir was singing, when the especially when the female lead singer of the choir was singing. It cut to Meghan and there was definitely a look of pride on her face there. Kelly Brand says, how large is Frogmore Cottage? Any details, what it looks like, number of rooms? Okay, I did do a video on, if you type in Royal Reviewer Frogmore Cottage, I did the before pictures that we know about in that video, and it shows you where they are on the map. It shows you where they are in relation to the main Frogmore house. But in terms of what it looks like now after the renovations, I have no idea. It's covered apparently still in the big white covering. So I don't know what it looks like now, but apparently it was divided into 5 staff kind of accommodations. So I'm thinking it's at least 5 bedrooms, but you can see the size of the basic footprint of the house. If you watch that video, you'll get a much better idea of the size and scale of the building. So do go and check that video back out. Anu says, did you hear that there were protests at the Commonwealth Day service? You can see it in the background. It was a disgrace. I didn't hear, actually. I'm not quite sure what the protests were. I know there's anti-Brexit protests going on in London. It could have been them. I don't know. I don't know what people could have been protesting against other than the usual Brexit stuff. Why were Meghan and Harry not at the party with Clooney? Because they may not have been invited. It could have been as simple as that. No, I mean, anywhere Harry and Meghan go, it's a highlight stealer. I think perhaps maybe it was more about Charles and what Charles. It was Charles's engagement, so there was no need for them to be there. Jennifer says, I think royal warrants are limited to those that serve the Queen and Prince of Wales. And it used to be the Queen Mother, and it used to be Philip as well that could grant. But at the moment, I think it is just the Queen, and you're quite correct, the Prince of Wales, that can only give them out. Okay, I'm just skipping a few. Oh, there's lots of Leos apparently, including Obama. I didn't realize Obama was a Leo. Lots of people laughing at the tarot reading. The other channel is Elliot's British Life. I've put the name of it in the description. Oh, I have a donation. Gregory C has donated $10. Thank you so much. You get a fan flap from me, so thank you so much. Lots of people saying it was hilarious. Oh, the veil. Well, I haven't got my veil side pony today. Pamela says, I think Meghan and Harry will stay close to the midwives and physician. Now, no travel more than about a couple of hours away. Do you think Doria will be there for the birth? I can't imagine her not. I mean, she might not, but I can't imagine that she wouldn't be there for the birth of her I'm choking, drink of her grandchild. Okay, Jamie says it's in public info. I haven't seen it, but I'll take your word for it, that it takes the special escort group, the escorts, the motorbike escorts, to escort dignitaries from Heathrow to Lambeth, which is the same distance to Windsor, 19 minutes. Well, there you go. 19 minutes would be a lot better than 45 minutes. So if that is the case, then actually it makes it entirely doable to go in and out of London and just stay at Frogmore. May always says, I hope Meghan gets someone that can do yoga with her and wake up in the morning at the same time. I'll do yoga with you, Meg. Gregory C says, most articles written are full of any first grader could write those. Everyone just wants to feel important. That article just had me going, ugh. Will the Sussex children not be Mountbatten Windsor? Well, the decree was that any of the Queen's descendants that do not hold titles are Mountbatten Windsor. But are they classing Lord and Lady as titles? And also, when they are elevated to princes and princesses, i.e. titles, they wouldn't have that anyway. So I'm not entirely sure whether they would get that immediately. And then obviously once their HRHs or princes or princesses lose that. But, if, for example, it's a boy and he takes on Harry's courtesy title, that is a title. A bit like James Viscount 7. So I wouldn't have thought that would count for Mountbatten Windsor. Lady, whatever first name, Sussex, again, it's a title. So it's not technically a non-titled member of the family, of the Queen's and Prince Philip's descendants. I will get my word out at one point. Yvonne says, I'm angry. I wasn't waiting for my notification, but happy to join in. I have no control over YouTube notifications. I'm so sorry. JSC says, maybe he should have a tarot reading on it, but I am standing by my prediction. There you go. Jennifer says, when William becomes Prince of Wales, will George become the Duke of Cambridge? Well, I was thinking about this, and there's a lot of precedents for not. I read that sometimes there have been occasions when they have, and sometimes they haven't. I'm thinking it'll kind of be, no. I'm going to go with no, because when Prince Charles was obviously, his secondary title is the dukedom of Cornwall, the Duchy of Cornwall, and William wasn't known as His Royal Highness Prince William, Duke of Cornwall. So I'm going with no. I'm going to tentatively go with no. Okay, apparently GMT is 5 hours ahead, so they are 5 hours behind. So I will probably be able to do the engagements on the day, I think. Lots of people thinking that Baby Sussex is a boy. Oh, apparently 590 watching now. Vanessa liked the footage of Prince Harry watching a game, and a little girl sat next to him was helping herself to the popcorn. I remember that one. That was very funny. I don't think we may get an official maternity announcement. Then again, we might not. I mean, it is one of those things. May or may not. Okay, sorry if I'm missing a few. Lou FR says, France here, still performing, perfecting your English by listening to you. Merci to you too. Or merci. Alison says, Victor is one of those names that sounds much better when British say it as opposed to Americans. Victor. Well, you can say really posh and go Victor. Victor. It's normally Victor. Victor. You could go Victor, or you go Victor. Victor is what we would kind of say, as in like ER. Or you could go Victor. Rita says the Wessex children are Mountbatten Windsor. Well, in official communications, Lady Louise is known as Lady Louise Windsor. So just Windsor. Because I'm thinking she has the title. If she didn't have a title, I think then it would be the Mountbatten Windsor. Or it's that she has the Mountbatten Windsor, but is just styled as Windsor with the use of the title. Oh, Cindy, good idea with the YouTube box, a grab box. I like it. Jennifer says, I'm addicted to you. Go to the doctor. You make me laugh out loud, and I live alone, so my neighbours must think I'm crazy or having a party. I like Prince Charles. Oh, that reminds me. Royal Central did an article to talk about opening a can of worms. My goodness. I'm going to do like a double flap because I don't know whether it's good or bad. But Royal Central did an article. Is it time, they say, is it time that we call Camilla Princess of Wales? I hear alarm. I hear recoils. I hear a few cheers. I don't know. Okay, this is like one of those Marmite questions. Is it time to call Camilla Princess of Wales? We all know that technically she is the Princess of Wales. She married to the Prince of Wales. But out of courtesy to the memory of Diana and all that went on, she has been known since marriage as the Duchess of Cornwall, which is Charles's secondary title. So, point of discussion, is it time for Camilla to be officially styled Princess of Wales? I mean, it's likely that she's obviously going to be, in my view, Queen Consort. So I think at this stage, there is no point whatsoever in changing what they call her. She is the Princess of Wales. Nobody can take that away from her. She's just not styled it or referred to it as in official communications. But she is technically the Princess of Wales. And, you know, she's more than likely, unless they change the law, to be Queen Consort. So I see no reason in changing it. But please let me know your views. I'm sure you will in the comment section below. I like Arthur as well. Scott Goff says it was Brexit protest. So there you go. They weren't protesting against the Commonwealth. It's just our usual Brexit protesters that stand outside the Houses of Parliament waving their flag and shouting, what do they shout? Stop Brexit! Over and over again, which drives me absolutely wild when I'm trying to watch the news. And all I can hear is, stop Brexit! It does my head in. So, yes, I wish an asteroid would come and knock down their flags. Sharon Hill says, oh, I don't know what the Queen had final say on the baby name. They always check with the Queen to make sure that she's happy. But if the Queen doesn't like the name, she's very unlikely to say, I don't like the name, choose something else. You must have Felicity. It's not like that. The Queen, I don't think, has ever refused a name choice. Not to my knowledge, anyway. Oh, I forgot the date of the Catherine and the Queen engagement. I announced it a few weeks ago. What date was it? Hang on. I may have it somewhere. Oh, I see. It was the Catherine and the Queen at King's College, London. Oh no, I didn't put the date down. Oh no, was it the 10th? No. No. What have I put? They have an engagement at King's College, London, to reopen the Grade 2 listed building, Bush House, and I haven't put the date down, so I can't remember the date. I will update you all on the date at a later date. Anoa says the protest at the Commonwealth Day service was by individuals from Cameroon pleading for the Commonwealth to intervene, some abuse going on. I hadn't heard of that whatsoever. Lots of people thinking that Doria will be there. Do you think the royals keep astrologists? No. Diana did. Diana had an astrologist, but I don't think any of the others do. I would love to do yoga with Meghan. Can you imagine me and Meg in the downward dog? Oh my goodness. The thing that bothers me with yoga now, when I have done yoga before, and I have to say there was a funny story. I think I've been scarred for life. Well, it was me and a load of women, because it was only women doing it and me. And we were doing some kind of position. And one of the ladies had a little bit of flatulence. Something popped out. I mean, not a poo. I mean, a noise, a bottom eruption, a flatulence popped out. And ever since then, I've been traumatized that if you get into some kind of position, something might pop out. It was most unsavory. Mrs. VSN says, will Beatrice and Eugenie's children be titled? No. Expat Lifestyle says, how much do you spend on research for the pop-up chats and going on live Saturdays you're trying to listen to? Well, it's basically bringing together lots of stuff that's happened in the week. So lots of stuff I just retain. I have my notes about what the kind of things I like to speak to. I forgot to write the date down for the Catherine and Queen engagement, but never mind. But I do a little bit of research. I like to plan just in case I get no questions, but I never do. I always get questions. Oh, Mrs. Whatever says, what do I think of Camilla Tominey's article that Meghan supporters are made up of a network of Russian bots? She uses a report that includes Obama and Ellen DeGeneres. Well, I hate to say it, but there has been talk, and not just from Camilla Tominey. In fact, I think Camilla Tominey is actually commenting on something else that's been going on. And they did do a little bit of research, and we have had in the UK on social media, and in particular, they mentioned Twitter, that there has been a lot of Russian interference with regards to these bots or these kind of like factories full of people sending out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram negative comments to influence people. And I'm not entirely sure why the Russians would have a problem with Meghan, but they did trace back some of these key accounts. I think it was a handful of accounts that had been tweeting a load of vile comments. And it did go back to, it was traced back to Russia, apparently. I don't know the entire depth of it, but apparently there was some truth in that. I don't know if it's bots or whether it's, you know, people employed to do comments, but also there was research done with stuff with our elections and Brexit and all kinds of things. And apparently the same thing was happening. So there is a shred of truth in it somewhere, I think. Have I discussed Beatrice and her boyfriend yet? No. And his name is Eduardo. And he's the one that has the ex-partner and the child. And they were out at the same engagement as Catherine this week at the National Portrait Gallery Gala. And she looked stunning. Well, okay, it was a Marmite dress. People either love it or hate it. And some people loved it, some people hated it. It was that red dress that looked to me like velour. I personally quite liked it, but there you go. Some people didn't. And yes, it was one of the first times that she has kind of debuted in. So they are definitely 100% an item. But again, there are no wedding bells on the cards yet. It's still early days. So I don't think there's going to be any wedding or babies or anything of that nature anytime yet. Matilde says, question, since Duke of York has daughters, can he pass his title to the girls? Right. I was having this conversation with somebody else, and it's not typically done. Usually the title would revert back to the crown. However, in the case of Countess Mountbatten of Burma, she inherited her title from her father, but there was special provision made for that. In fact, I think the Queen may have had a little hand in it. So it is possible that the title could, if Charles, for example, in the future, or even William decides that should happen, it could happen. But if we go by the rules of what's in place, then no, it won't. Anoa says, I'm pretty sure when Princess Anne got engaged back in the 70s, she was referred to as Anne Louise Mountbatten Windsor. No, that definitely wouldn't have been. Show me where that was, and I will take a look. Lou FR says, if the Queen doesn't agree with the name, what happens? No, it's not why they have the wait after. That's just, I think, to keep people in suspense, and also to literally work out what they think the baby should be called, even though they probably have a list of options already. But if the Queen doesn't, well, see, that's what I mean. I don't think it has happened. I don't think the Queen hasn't ever agreed with a name. I don't think that's happened. But let's just say she didn't. She would probably say something along the lines of, I think you should rethink that name. I don't think she'd categorically say, you're not having that name. You've got to have Felicity. I think she would just kind of indicate, I'm not quite sure about that name. So I don't know if Meghan and Harry chose something like Frogmella in relation to Frogmore, the Queen might say, are you sure about Frogmella? I think you should perhaps have a rethink. And that would be an indication like, no, the Queen is not going to have Frogmella. And I'm not casting aspersions that they're even considering Frogmella. But you get my drift. If it was like a really outlandish name and the Queen thought, nah, I don't like that one, she wouldn't say, no, you're not having it, you've got to have Felicity. She'd just be like, I think you should rethink that name. Are you sure about that name? Okay. I'm just skipping a few. Oh, lots of people saying no. I'm reading back to the about calling Camilla Princess of Wales. I might do it for devilment on the tour. Call her Princess of Wales. No, I won't. I'm joking. I will not call her the Princess of Wales. I'm joking. Okay, lots of people having views on that. I'm not going to read all of them because I'll be here forever. Okay, I'm going to skip some of those. Jamie says, Camilla, Princess of Millinery. I like that because I do like Camilla's hats. Okay, I think in the chat room there is a big no-no for Camilla being a styled Princess of Wales. So there we go. I'm still skipping through a few of those. SC1964 says, you always are such a joy to watch. Well, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Appreciate it fully. Margaret says, as far as I'm concerned, it was time for her to use the title Princess of Wales. It is hers by right. She is, after all, the wife of the Prince of Wales. Well, I agree. I mean, and nothing can take away from the fact that that is her actual title. She's married to Prince Charles, therefore, who is the Prince of Wales, therefore, she is the Princess of Wales. But I think out of just, what's gone on in the past, it would be stirring up a hornet's nest, I think, to change that title now. She's been well established as the Duchess of Cornwall, and to be perfectly honest, I don't really think Camilla herself cares about that kind of stuff. I think she's just happy to be with Charles. I really don't think she covets anything of that nature at all. So I think she's perfectly happy with Duchess of Cornwall, and it's just everyone else making a big flap about it, and Royal Central in particular, who have published that story, trying to stir up a big hornet's nest, which, yes, perhaps we could do without right now. There's lots of other things going on that have been stirred up, yet alone having to worry about that. So I think we won't see a change, but I do think Camilla will be Queen Consort. Dorrit says, I agree. Why raise a huge fuss at this point by changing the Duchess of Cornwall's title? There you go. And it'll all come right when she's Queen Consort. Where was I when the news about Diana broke? And what did I do that week? Since I was in the US, I just looked at the TV. I was 14, nearly 15. Or was I 15? I may have been 15. I think I was 15 at the time, in 1997. And I woke up to the news. I think, like most people in Britain, I woke up to it. I could hear the TV on in my parents' bedroom. So I went in, and there it was on the news. And it was the first time ever that I've experienced feeling grief for someone that I didn't actually know in real life. And it was a really weird feeling because Diana had that ability to connect with people, and she made you feel like you knew her even if you hadn't even met her. So when she passed away, you did actually feel a real palpable grief. And it was a weird feeling because you were like, well, why am I feeling like I'm grieving? Why am I upset when I didn't even know this person? So it was a really weird feeling. And I remember, I think it was a Sunday. It was a Sunday. I think it was a Sunday because we went out to the garden centre, and everywhere in the afternoon, and everywhere was really quiet. Lots of people were staying in, just watching the telly. Went to the garden centre, and I just remember thinking, everything just feels really, really weird. And then obviously all developments happened all that week, and they were planning the funeral, and then there was all the fuss over the Queen not being down in London, and then the Queen came down to London, and then she made that very public address from the palace, you could see her from the window of the palace. Yes, quite a time. Matilda says, Zara as godmother for Harry's first, just William first. She has a whole lot of big sisterness over the Waleses. I don't know. I mean, let's just get baby born first before we talk about any godmothers or godfathers. Arnold says, I saw a comment on one story that said Meghan and Harry should have a spare bedroom in their new house for the whole Markle clan. I imagine they would have a spare bedroom, but I wouldn't imagine it would be earmarked Maybe the dungeon. Maybe the cellar. No, I'm joking. I also saw a story that she was going to invite them over after the birth. I mean, I don't believe a word of it. Of course, I personally would like to see a reconciliation. I don't like any family fallouts. I'm that sort of person where I don't like it. I don't like the tension. Give me my tension tamerty. So I hold out hope that they will reconnect at some point and sort things out, because it's not right to have an ongoing feud or ill feeling. I think if it can be sorted, I'd like bridges to be made. However, if that is impossible, then it's impossible. It's entirely up to them now, and I'm not going to comment any further. But in terms of a bedroom just for them, I would probably say no. But yes to the spare bedroom. Can they have a spare bedroom for me? I could do yoga with Meg in the morning, doing the downward dog, trying not to do a flatulence noise. My goodness. Lady Bingham says too much info. Oh my god. Oh, lots of modding going on. Mrs. Whoever, whatever, says downward dog, you are a hoot. Oh, I missed a donation. No, I think I've done one. Did I miss one? Kelly, did you do a donation? I've missed it. It's gone from my list. Thank you so much if I've missed it. Thank you so much to Kelly. I have missed it though. Literally, I can't see it now. It's gone. JS Godmother says, I think Beatrice is pretty. I do too. Oh, and Palmer Lee Stevens has donated $1.99. I'm just getting to them now. Thank you so much. You get a fun flap too. Thank you so much. Nino says Frog Miller. No, Frog Mella, I said. Frog and then Mella, Mella. Bisani Golf says, I like Frederick for a boy. I can see Harry playing rugby with... I like Frederick too, but it's already been kind of used in recent type... Who knows? Who knows? Lots of people laughing at Frog Mella. Well, it is in relation to Frogmore. Marcelia says, Frog Mella. Would you saddle a child with such a horrible... Exactly, I'm saying it's a terrible name. So if Harry and Meghan chose something that was completely ridiculous, the Queen could kind of say, are you sure about that name? Which would indicate, no, it's no. That's like the Queen alarm for no. Annette says, Charles went a month before he was named. Why so long? Maybe they couldn't decide. No, I mean, I think that was also to do with the time. It was a long, sorry, Charles, but it was a long time ago. And things were done a little bit differently. Lots of people laughing at Frog Mella. Lots of people still laughing at... I didn't think it was that bad a choice. Martin Gahan's given me a date. Yay. Tuesday the 19th of March 2019 for the Duchess of Cambridge and the Queen. There we go. Thank you to Martin for some quick Googling. Kiki says, do you think that the heir or heirs to the throne kind of dread becoming monarch, knowing that means the death of parent? Well, yes. And also the burden of the role as well, because it is a very important role. Matilde has donated $1.99, who said, thank you so much. I, of course, will give you... I'm getting to all the donations. I literally... I don't think I've been getting the notifications, so I'm kind of getting to them now. So thank you so much if you have, and I've missed it. Lots of people liking Camilla's hats. I think she doesn't get enough credit for her hats and her fashion. Marcelia says some of her hats are too big. Well, she's got big hair. I mean, big hair, big hat. The higher the hair, the closer to God. Okay. Yes, I would love to have royal lineage. I don't think I have. Although then again, my surname does kind of go back to Wales. I think I did read somewhere that my name could possibly trace back to Welsh royalty, perhaps. Yvonne says, your son is my age. You need to share your aging secrets. Vaseline on the lens and plenty of it. Oh, Judy was in Paris and could hear the sirens. Oh, I think a lot of people are kind of feeling the same way that I did when they heard the news about Diana. Arnold says, yes, the dungeon. Are they having a dungeon installed at Frogmore? Jimmy says, as a YouTuber, does BAFTA have a designated category? What, for YouTubers? I don't think so. I don't think so, no. They should, for me. Yvonne says, you tapped into Diana as a mom with a son your age. I tapped into her being a mother with 2 children, like you. That causes you grief. It's a shared experience that connects people. That's true. And yes, I'm in between the ages of William and Harry, like literally bang in the middle. So yes, Diana to me was like the same age as my mother. And it's weird because now I'm approaching the same kind of age that Diana was when she passed away. And I'm thinking, imagine if that was like it's young. Like when I was younger, it didn't seem that young, but it is young. LS says $4.99 donation. Thank you so much. And she says, you had me at yoga, still howling. You get a fan flat for all your howling. Thank you so much for your kind donation. Lots of people saw it on the telly. Jamie says he was lost in thought you weren't even a speck of dust in 1997. Vinny Blair says father and daughter may reconnect, but the other daughter, that's a bridge crossed with no way back. I'm saying nothing else on the entire subject. Lots of people laughing. Lots of people have very strong opinions on the Markle, so I'm now going to ban Markle. Moderators, ban any further Markle chat. You've all been warned. Arnold says, people like me know a lot about Meghan way before she met Harry. I am not doubting that in the slightest. In fact, before Harry, I still haven't seen Suits, but I had not heard of Meghan at all, I can honestly say. Jamie says, hope everyone has a great St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. Don't drink in excess. Exactly. Yvonne likes Nicholas or Albert. Anne says dungeons and drawbridges. Maybe they should. Maybe to have a little moat around Frogmore to keep the frogs out. Annette is loving the idea of Frogmella. It's a delightful name, isn't it? Frogmella. Oh no, what if Meghan and Harry are watching and it's a girl and they do actually call the baby Frogmella? Can you imagine? Meg, don't even go there. Dorrit says, after I subscribed to my channel, my newsfeed started carrying several bogus royal family news items every day. You ignore them. I'm sorry that following me has subjected you to a load of drivel. Please block the drivel, but keep me. Lots of people sharing their memories of where they were when they heard that Diana had passed. Annette said, I was joking about Frogmella. Thank goodness for that. Tonya says, never thought I'd say this, but I really, really respect what I'm laughing at Frogmella now myself does, and I like her. I like Camilla too. She seems a really good sort, and I think you could have a lot of fun with Charles and Camilla on a night in or a night out. I think they'd be a scream, actually. I think they've got a naughty sense of humour, and I can imagine that it would probably get very fun at one of their parties that I would love to be invited to. Camilla, if you're listening or watching, do invite me. Marsha says, if people are going for names to reflect the Duke and Duchess's new residence, how about what? Windmiller, as in Windsor or Camilla. Frogmella, Windmiller. I love it. I think we've come up with some really viable options for the baby name. Perhaps we should inform them. What about for a boy? I quite like Victor, actually. It's a strong name. Victor Sussex. I quite like it. Oh, by the way, you see this behind me, my little artwork. I've had it ages. I've had it like literally since I moved in. Like it's like almost 15 years old. I'm thinking of something else for the backdrop, something on the wall, and I don't know what. So any suggestions would be really, really welcome. I would love to find, I don't know, some kind of, I don't want anything like drapery. I've already got drapery. I'm thinking some kind of either a sculpture or like a wall sculpture, or maybe a painting, or I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would love some kind of like original art. I don't know. I haven't really seen anything that's really grabbed me. So any suggestions for something that could go here, right behind me, please let me know in the comment section below. Nova says, Vaseline on the lens. I just died. It works. I don't put Vaseline on. Pamela says, my son is named Elliot. Love this name. Well, I think it's a good choice. Yvonne says, Vaseline finally has a purpose. But it's better than all the other purposes people find, I'll tell you. Ava42 says, I think Duchess Camilla is amazing. She made Prince Charles happy and it shows. That she most certainly has done. They are a love match. Jamie says 36 young. It is young. Stop it. 36 is young. Liv Lumna says Marina is the name of Princess Alexandria of Kent, daughter. She was trouble, alcohol and drugs. I still like the name, and it doesn't have that connotation to me. Frederick says, "Thank you." Oh, I like Frederick as a name too. Actually, after such a bad week, it's good to watch and listen to you. Lots of love from Montreal. Well, hello and thank you. Bernice says, I could be wrong, but I think the British royal family names children after the dead instead of the living. But I mean, they don't have to be dead. Let's not wish them all dead. No, they can name them what they want, or you know. But I think it's likely to be a name that's not, you know, around at the minute. I would probably say. Countess Bavaria says, "My word, this chat thread is hilarious. I need another drink." Lots of people liking Victoria for a girl. Oh, shall we just go with Frogmella? Ooh, Matilda. I like Matilda. That's good. Jamie says Marina was the name of the boat parking spot beside my hotel in Spain. Well, there you go. S. Riddit says, I'm happy that Charles found love and Harry and William are in happy marriages too. The royal family finally got their priorities right. Well, I don't think they necessarily had their priorities wrong, but I agree. I am really, really glad that love has prevailed and everyone is happy in their marriages. Dorrit says, of course I will keep you. Small price to pay for all those fakeries. Yes. Caroline says, you don't like when they call Catherine Kate. No, I don't. So please don't call her Meg. I was doing it for comedic effect. I do apologise. Kay Brown says, hey, Elliot, if the baby is a boy, they should name him Elliot. They should. I think it would be Prince Elliot, if he gets to be a prince. Would be a very good name. Spencer for a boy. I'm not... I get where you're coming from, but I'm not seeing that one. Lots of other name suggestions, which I'm going to skip a few. Am I single? No. Oh, J.S. Godmother says a coat of arms on the wall. That could work. Frogbert for a boy. That's worse than Pubert. I don't like Pubert either. Frogbert, Frogmella. And what was the other one? Windmiller. Oh my goodness. Jojo says a painting, but I haven't found a painting I like. I'm very fussy. I would like something, but I don't know what. I need an art advisor. Yvonne says wall art, go modern. I could. I don't know. I really don't know. Melinda for a girl. No, that reminds me of Melinda Messenger, and she did page 3. Claire Green says, will you be going outside the hospital to a lot? No, it's too far away. Like, literally, it is too far away. And if it's like another Great Kate wait, I am not standing outside a freezing hospital, even if it's becoming spring, for anybody. I am sorry. No. Bailey A says, a collage of all the royals, past and present. Could work. Margaret, they could be unconventional. That is true. Make my own abstract art. Have you seen my drawing? I like Amelia. Ava says, when they release the joint coat of arms for the Sussexes. They did, didn't they? I think they did. Anne Berg says, Marina's interesting and beautiful. However, Victoria's up for grabs. They did really. I'm sure they released something that was joint. I think they have. More likely and also beautiful, I think. Maybe Victoria, Camilla Francis. Do I watch the Windsors? No, because I think it's anti-monarchist. I hate that show. It is a parody, but I definitely detect Republican undertones in it. So I refuse to watch. Mrs. Whoever Whatever says, I am a vodka fan, but I'm going to try whiskey tomorrow for St. Patrick's Day. A rogue gallery of the royal family. Yvonne says, you make me laugh out loud. That's good that you said out loud. Which makes my cat and 2 dogs jump, like me with my fan flaps. Cora says Northern Illinois Sasquatch researchers. What a name. Jamie says, get a portrait of Michael D. Higgins for the wall, but only if someone can superimpose the Queen's hair on him. Michael D. Higgins, if you don't know, is the President of Ireland. Oh my goodness. He could so be Queen Elizabeth if he did drag. You wouldn't tell them apart. I have a theory. Maybe Michael D. Higgins is actually the Queen. Pamela says, the Cuba trip, this is a sensitive trip, and we shall see how the press spins it here in the US as compared to the UK. That will be interesting. We will compare. We will compare notes. Ronnie thinks that Baby Sussex will have a modern name. I have no idea. Benny says, my current art is too small. I know. I need something different. Lots of suggestions for the art, which I will go back and reread later. Oh, EAO says, a painting of me in full dress with a tiara. I'm quite liking that one. Name the boy Boris? No, it's too Russian sounding, I think. Marcelia says, cut the frog Mella from your vocab. I would not even give any of my pets such a horrible name. Reserve it for Scammy. Poor baby frog Mella. Ricky Field says, could Prince Charles ever give Meghan and Harry a title where she would be called Princess when Prince William becomes Prince of Wales along with Catherine? You mean Princess in her own right? Well, it has been done previously. So technically, yes, but she would always carry the title of her husband, even if she was Princess in her own right. So even if she was made Princess Meghan or Princess Rachel, whichever I think they would maybe have to go by, she would still be known as the Duchess of Sussex, I do believe. I agree. I am glad we have normalised relationships with Cuba, says Mrs. Whoever Whatever. I can get dark rum, and I no longer have to ask my Puerto Rican friends to ask their relations to bring me some. Yay for the dark rum. Oh, hyacinth for a girl. I like it. Fishing nets as artworks. That I am interested to see. Send me a photo. Frogbert is hilarious. I like all these froggy names. I'm a fan of the froggy names. Yvonne says page 3. Yes, Melinda Messenger, page 3. Okay, lots of people thinking I should go contemporary. It's a thought. Yes, I did. Yes, I knew they'd released their coat of arms. Dee Dee says, I hear you. I don't stand around waiting to see anyone, not even our beloveds. I am not freezing my bottom off in the cold for anybody. Trust me. That's why I am not one of those royal reporters. They stand out there for ages and ages and ages and ages like complete loons. Not for me, thank you. Tosca says, you English are hilarious about what is too far away. That is far away. It's like hours on the train. Hours and hours and hours. Even by fast train. Wendy says, I have a beautiful indoor reef on a similar wall. Well, maybe if the Queen lets me stay in one of the vacant Buckingham Palace rooms, or even, maybe I could have the vacant Nottingham Cottage. I don't know. If I could stay somewhere in London and get easy access, then yes. Annette says, what if Harry and Meghan just take a pic in the hospital and hands it? I'm not liking that one. Okay, I know people are typically anti-baby display, but like I say, it does serve that purpose of satisfying the press for a while, that then gives you at least an ounce of privacy for the foreseeable. So I think we may see a baby parade. People are suggesting my own coat of arms, a bow tie collection. Jamie says, Jason will wonder why Dawn is installed in the living room. the Mona Dawn. I could have the Mona Tito. You guys won't know what that is. Lillian Rose says, I'm planning on going to from Tudors to Windsor's in the next few weeks. I liked the Tudors TV show, but that Windsor's one is rubbish. Marcelia says, my facial expressions. Did you ever think of doing comedy? I do comedy all the time. I plan to do more comedy on my second channel. Liza D says, I have a random question. God forbid if something would happen to William whilst his children are still young, would George become a child king or would it go to Harry? Yes, it would go to George. Although if he's too young, then there would be a regency, which would likely be Catherine, I think. Jamie says the Queen had a dog called Froggy Doggy. Really? I haven't heard of that one. Margaret says Meghan's full title is actually Princess Henry, the Duchess of Sussex, which is correct. But that's a bit of a mouthful. Annette says, I think Harry would rule in... No. There would be a regent. I mean, they could appoint Harry as regent in the meantime. But I think there's more precedent for it being, it depends, I suppose, whether Catherine had been queen or whether... in this scenario, whether William had passed before he was king, that would play a big part in it too. A shelf with my tiaras. I don't think my partner would love tiaras everywhere. I would. Mrs. Whatever says, I love that the British are very free with their hairstyles. I noticed when I was there that everybody seemed free to... Well, of course, anyone can do whatever they want with their hair. Why wouldn't they? Yes, the fringe tiara tonight. Oh no, Martin, they took the Michael out of you in one program. My goodness. Oh, I don't know. How can I explain taking the out? How do you describe that? How can I explain it to non-British? It means making fun of. It's taking the is another word for making fun of. Jamie says a frog ball house. Oh, I've made it all the way down to the bottom of the chat, and it's actually almost time to go. But have I missed anything that I've got down in my notes? I don't think I have. I think we've spoken about pretty much everything. No, I'm done. Apart from the Danny Dyer thing. Danny Dyer is an actor, and he found out during doing a program about his ancestry for TV that he's related to Edward his ancestry goes back to Edward III. So he told Prince Charles that that they're distantly related, very distantly, but distantly related through Edward III. And Prince Charles's response was quite funny, but very comical. And I'll have to do some research. I don't know whether Charles is doubting it, but no, this ancestry program, Who Do You Think You Are, was very good. And they did research all the way back. I watched the program, and Danny Dyer is indeed descended from Edward III. And he's probably the least person you would expect to have royal connections, but he does. So there you go. I thought that was funny. Oh, Jamie would think a good name for the baby would be Franny, as in FR. My goodness. I think I prefer Frogmella. Okay. And I'm going to leave it here now because on my other channel, Elliot's British Life, I have set one of my old vlogs, not a new vlog. If you don't know, on my other channel, I am re-uploading in order my weekly vlogs. So I've got a backlog, I think, of about 24 to upload. So I think this is vlog 2 or vlog 3 that I've uploaded. So it's going way back to about September of last year. And I'm going to premiere it at 12:15, which is like 35 minutes away. So I'm going to go and pack away my set, pack away my flag, and then I'm going to attend the premiere on my other channel. It is, like I say, an older vlog, so it's not a current one. But anyway, I thought I would give it a premiere. So if you are available, do go hop over there and join me. I will be there with my cup of tea. So if you have enjoyed this week's vlog, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and also hit that notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. And also, please do remember to subscribe to this channel and my other one as well, because I'm trying to get up to 1,000. And I'm only 300 away. So every subscriber counts. I will be back next week, live, same time, same place, 10 o'clock GMT. So from me, for now, in Shropshire, mwah, to you all, goodbye.